In his arms she found passion. In her past she found betrayal. Now, revenge is the only way forward. Sullivan moved closer, his gaze sharply fixed on her. The meeting at the company's dinner wasn't a mistake. Sullivan knew she would be in attendance. He only wanted to use her as bait to get to the real enemy. The same enemy she is looking for, but obviously in the wrong direction. But Sullivan fell in love and let go of his plans, allowing himself to trust Catherine completely. In the same year, Catherine's father's empire was stolen from him. Someone had tried to rip Sullivan off his company but didn't succeed. It affected Sullivan's finances for some years before he finally bounced back, and he has been on the lookout trying to get the enemy masking off as him. Even as Sullivan tried not to show it, Catherine could see the pain in his eyes. He was clearly hurt by her action. "I'm so sorry. I never knew you weren't the enemy," Catherine pleaded. "Please forgive me." Sullivan was about to leave, but then he paused and said, "I funded your education anonymously using my foundation. You can ask your mother, but please remember to ask her what also happened to your father." Catherine's heart stilled in her chest as she replayed Sullivan's last word in her head. She stumbled out of the penthouse, heading for her mother's place. She was so furious with herself for trying to ruin an innocent man. All the anger heightened as she drove. She barged into her mother's cottage, and the moment her mother saw her, she said, "I knew one day I would have to tell you the truth, and it's finally today." Years back, Chloe, Catherine's mother, had an illicit affair with Batista Manuel, Catherine's godfather and her father's best friend. Her mother lacked attention and affection due to her father's busy nature, and Batista noticed the loophole and took advantage of it. He showered her with love, care, and attention until Chloe was head over heels in love with him. They planned to elope, but Batista told her he didn't have the financial capability for such relocation, so he devised a plan which was to swindle Catherine's father of his wealth, but unknowingly to Chloe, Batista was only using her to get to her husband, Robert, for his own selfish benefit. But what Chloe didn't plan for was Robert committing suicide after he had been ripped off all his long years of hard work. It was after Robert was buried that she knew Batista had played her. He never loved her. He only wanted what belonged to her husband. Catherine fell to the ground, crying her eyes out at her mother's betrayal. The one person she could have trusted with her life, Sullivan. She had broken his trust in her. But as Catherine stood up to leave, Chloe made one last pronouncement that shattered her. "You might not be a Walter." "Please forgive me. I'm sorry." Catherine froze. Everything she ever believed in was all a lie. Hot tears rolled down her cheeks as she staggered towards her car. She didn't go back to the penthouse. She didn't know how to face Sullivan again. She holed up in a motel, drowning in pain, regret, and guilt. After hiding for a week, Catherine decided it was time to face the world again. Her first plan was to conduct a paternity test as she was about to swipe the doorknob. A knock on the door startled her when she opened the door. Sullivan stood, dripping in finesse in a sharp, tan-tailored tuxedo. Her heart melted, and immediately she flung into his arms. She missed him terribly. He closed her lips with his, and they savored in each other's arms. For the first time, she allowed herself to experience true passion as Sullivan made sweet, passionate love to her on the motel bed. By nightfall, they got ready to leave, and Sullivan glanced back at the blood on the bedsheet, a sign of her innocence. He smiled with a flicker of satisfaction, leading the way out. Catherine had the paternity test, and the result proved she was 99% a Walter. Her joy knew no bounds. She forgave her mother, and they were both happy over the test result. Later that night, Catherine and Sullivan re-strategized. Sullivan had found out from an anonymous letter that Batista was the same person who tried to steal his company from him, the same year Catherine's father fell. Sullivan remembered he had caught his ex-fiancée pants down with Batista. Then it dawned on him. His ex was the insider. Batista used her the same way he had used Catherine's mother. The letter also came with a folder of evidence against Batista's crimes, courtesy of Chloe. They tender it to the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Batista was arrested, and after a long court trial, Sullivan's name was cleared, and Catherine's father's empire was given back to the Walter family. Sullivan proposed to Catherine. They got married and lived happily ever after.